Champions League Paris Saint-Germain vs PSV Eindhoven prediction, team news, lineups preview. The best in France meets the best in the Netherlands in Tuesday's Champions League clash. As Paris Saint-Germain host PSV Eindhoven at the Parc des Princes in the league phase. Luis Enrique's men are out to atone for their 2-0 defeat to Arsenal on matchday 2, while the Eredivisie champions accepted a point in a 1-1 draw against Sporting Lisbon. Match preview. Redemption and role reversal were the themes of PSG's Champions League clash with Arsenal in early October, as 3 years on from Gianluigi Donnarumma's Euro 2020 winning penalty save against Bukayo Saka. The Arsenal man had the last laugh in the English capital this time around. Donnarumma had already failed to cover himself in glory for Kai Havertz's opening header, and the Italy international, whose recent performances have generated plenty of criticism, then saw Saka's swinging free kick flash past both him and a sea of bodies into the back of the net. Enrique's men were met with stiff resistance at the other end of the field as their quest for a maiden Champions League crown suffered an early setback, and even though they did eke out a 1-0 success over Girona on matchday 1, it was only thanks to a last-gasp own goal. PSG's 3-point hail leaves them smack-bang in the middle of the UCL table in 18th place, but the reigning Ligue 1 champions are still unbeaten domestically this season and saw off Strasbourg 4-2 with a weakened side on Saturday. The visit of PSV marks the start of a daunting 4-game sequence for PSG, who also pit their wits against Marseille, Lens and Atletico Madrid in the coming weeks, but not since Manchester United came. Saw and conquered in October 2020 have the hosts lost a Champions League home match. Les Parisians have to go even further back to October 2015 for the last time that they failed to score in a top-level European game at the Parc des Princes. A reassuring statistic before the visit of a PSV side who typically do not pull up continental trees away from home. Indeed, Peter Bosz's side opened their latest European adventure with a 3-1 loss on Juventus turf, marking the 11th Champions League away game on the spin where they have failed to keep a clean sheet, and only one of their last 18 road matches in the competition has ended in victory. 2 weeks later, PSV were minutes away from edging out Sporting courtesy of Jordi Schouten's early strike, only for Daniel Braganca to equalize in the final 10 and leave the Ruud Witten 24th in the standings, the final spot that will secure a playoff place. Away from their Champions League woes, PSV remain unblemished in the 2024-25 Eredivisie season with an outstanding 9 wins from 9. Getting the better of AZ Alkmaar 2-1 at the weekend to maintain an unassailable lead at the top of the table. That slender success also marked PSV's 21st game in a row with at least 1 goal. They have not drawn a blank since March's Champions League loss away to Borussia Dortmund, so attack may be the best form of defense for Bosz. In the Ruud Witten's first ever meeting with perennial also-rans PSG. Team news. Hoping to kick on in PSG colors after a strong international break with France scoring both of their goals in a 2-1 UEFA Nations League win over Belgium. Randal Kolo Muani was missing from the squad to face Strasbourg due to a sprained ankle. The striker's issue is not a severe one, but a question mark is hanging over his head for Tuesday's game, where Goncalo Ramos' ankle, Lucas Hernandez knee and Presnel Kimpembe Achilles will watch from the sidelines. But the latter is finally back in team training. Defensive regulars Marquinhos, Nuno Mendes, and Achraf Hakimi were all rested at the weekend after their international commitments. But the trio should be back in a full-strength PSG 11 this week. 18-year-old midfielder Seny Mayelu should be one of the players sacrificed, despite opening the scoring on Saturday. As for PSV, their hopes of a shock result at the Parc des Princes suffered a massive blow at the weekend, as midfield fulcrum Schouten picked up a knee injury that could sideline him for a couple of months. The Eredivisie champions are already without another influential linchpin in Joey Veerman, who is absent with a groin injury, while Sergino Dest's knee and Herving Lozano muscle are unlikely to make the cut as well. The injuries to Schouten and Veerman leave PSV extremely short of true midfield enforcers, and the former should be replaced by the attack-minded Malik Tillman on Tuesday, unless Boss introduces a more out-and-out central midfielder in 18-year-old Tygo land. As well as a midfield selection dilemma, Boss has lost Dest's fellow right-back Rick Karsdorp to a fresh setback, so Mauro Jr. could switch flanks as Matteo Dams starts on the left. Paris Saint-Germain possible starting lineup: Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, Mendes, Zaire-Emery, Vitinha, Neves, Dembele, Asensio, Barcola. PSV Eindhoven possible starting lineup: Benitez, Jr., Flamingo, Buscagli, Dams, Till, Sabari, Tillman, Bakayoko, De Jong, Lang. We say, Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 PSV Eindhoven. No player has recovered possession more times than Schouten 23 in the current UCL campaign. And with both the 27-year-old and Veerman missing, PSV are at risk of being overrun in midfield. The visitors' struggles away from home in Europe are also well documented, so we can only envisage PSG comfortably getting back on track in the Champions League. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.